What's up, everyone? Welcome to the March 19th edition of FanDuel Tournament Plays presented by PrizePicks. I'm your host, Adam Scherer. You can follow me on Twitter at ShipMyMoneyDFS. And as a reminder, you get one free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum when you sign up and make a deposit at PrizePicks. Be sure to use the code Awesemo to receive a 100% first deposit bonus up to $100. Today, we're going to take a look at 5 of the top tournament options on FanDuel for tonight's 3-game NBA DFS slate using the Boom Bust tool on the Awesemo.com website. As always, be sure to tune in to Live Before Lock in the hour leading up until tip for more up-to-date player projections, ownership projections, and injury news. But for now, taking a look at 5 of the top tournament options on FanDuel. Starting at number 5, Kevin Love is projected for 16% ownership with a 20% chance of being in the optimal lineup. Love is one of the most volatile players on the slate because he's a very good point per minute fantasy producer. He's averaged 1.17 FanDuel points per minute so far this season, but his playing time is also inconsistent. Even with Jared Allen out, at times you're getting, 16, 17 minutes from Love. Other games you're getting 28. If he plays anywhere close to 28 minutes at his $5,300 price tag, he's going to be a phenomenal option. Similarly, if he only plays 16 or 17 minutes, he's most likely going to disappoint you. So there's a wide range of outcomes, but that's an appealing spot to target in tournaments, especially when ownership isn't particularly high. Number 4, Russell Westbrook, projected for 29% ownership with a 44% chance of being in the optimal lineup. Westbrook is point guard only, but he's also only $6,900, taking on the Washington Wizards. Westbrook has averaged 1.06 FanDuel points per minute and 33.5 minutes per game in the games that he's played without Anthony Davis and with LeBron James this season. There's also a non-zero chance that James ends up sitting tonight on the second half of a back-to-back after last night's game went to overtime. If that were to happen, Westbrook's rates increase even more. His ownership would almost certainly increase, but so would his chances of being in the optimal lineup. Number 3, Jaylen Brunson, $5,200 point guard, shooting guard eligible, projected for a lot of ownership at 40%, but also with a 45% chance of being in the optimal lineup. Dallas has ruled out Spencer Dinwiddie. They will be getting back Reggie Bullock. That's a net win for Brunson because Bullock is a lower usage player and less of a playmaker than Dinwiddie. So Brunson looks better both when he's in the starting lineup with Luka, but also you expect him to be running the second unit when Luka's not on the floor as well. Brunson has averaged 0.85 FanDuel points per minute and 32.9 minutes per game in the games that he's played without Kristaps Porzingis, without Tim Hardaway, without Spencer Dinwiddie, and with Luka Doncic this season. Number 2, Jeremy Grant, projected for 40% ownership with a 50% chance of being in the optimal lineup. Grant is pretty clearly underpriced on FanDuel at $5,900. He's power forward only. He does have a difficult matchup against the Cleveland Cavaliers, but Grant has averaged 0.99 FanDuel points per minute and 33 minutes per game in the games that he's played with Cade Cunningham active this season. If he just plays to an average level, you're talking about a 5x projection for Grant, and obviously he's going to exceed that around 50% of the time. So projected to go a bit under-owned even at his inflated 40% ownership level. And number 1, Kyle Kuzma, another extremely popular mispriced player on FanDuel that is still going a bit under-owned. Kuzma's projected for 49% ownership with a 55% chance of being in the optimal lineup. He's only $7,000. He has small forward and power forward eligibility, so you have plenty of positions to get him in, and they're 2 of the weaker positions on the slate. Kuzma has averaged 1.02 FanDuel points per minute and 32.4 minutes per game in the 6 games that he's played with Kristaps Porzingis this season. He has a favorable matchup against his former team, the Los Angeles Lakers, as well. And there's a decent chance that Porzingis ends up sitting. We haven't gotten news on that yet, but he hasn't played a back-to-back since joining Washington. If Porzingis were to sit, I would expect Kuzma's ownership to increase, but his optimal lineup percentage would increase as well, because in the games that he's played without Porzingis and without Beal this season, Kuzma has averaged 1.12 FanDuel points per minute and 34.3 minutes per game. So you're talking about an extra tenth of a fantasy point per minute and around 2 more minutes per game on average for Kuzma if Porzingis does sit on the second half of back-to-back tonight. So to recap, the top 5 tournament options on FanDuel: number 5, Kevin Love; number 4, Russell Westbrook; number 3, Jaylen Brunson; number 2, Jeremy Grant; and number 1, Kyle Kuzma.